We're all at least a little bit familiar with the two main avenues for publishing a book, the self published route or the traditional publishing route. I'm going to be explaining in this episode why I'm going with the self publishing route for my epic fantasy novels. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode. My name is Alex Jagir, and I am an epic fantasy author. I'm excited because in this episode, I'm going to be telling you why I'm going this self publishing route rather than the traditional route. Now, saying something like this 15 or 20 years ago would have been kind of crazy to say. It stood out a little bit more. It wasn't there wasn't the potential there to go the self publishing route as there is today. But I think it's still important to talk about. And there's a lot of topics out there. Mine's not going to be specialized on the reasons why you should do this and break down. I probably will in the future the process of me publishing my first book and going through that process throughout the years and growing and expanding. But this book is to tell you specifically why I'm choosing to do it. There's four main reasons why. So the first one is I want to be able to write what I want to write. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't take into consideration what my core readers and what other people give to me for feedback. In fact, I've just had my first core reader. I just made an episode about it last week. He gave me back his feedback about my book. A couple other of my core readers are. My wife gave me feedback. She's the first one that always reads my book. And of course, even though I'm not going to let everyone dictate what my book says or how it's written or a future series, I'm going to be looking at what my other readers who buy my book and support me, I'm going to be looking at what they say about my book and take into consideration just my writing, if there's anything I need to adjust. So I'm definitely not just bullheaded and going in with my head down and doing it my own way or the highway. I'm definitely be taking advice, looking at constructive criticism, absolutely. But what I mean by I want to write what I want to write is I don't want there in the back of my mind when writing my book, is this going to fly with the publisher? Or are they gonna have me make a substantial edit here because it's not, popular right now in the genre? Because 'Cause I'm gonna be writing over a long period of time, hopefully my whole life, or at least until, I am not capable anymore. So, I wanna be able, when I sit down, to let my brain be as creative as it wants to be and tell the stories it wants to tell. I've been forming my universe and world and how I wanna write my books for the past 10 or 15 years, and so being able to express my creativity the way I want to be able to is extremely important to me. The second reason is because I have a very much mind geared toward the entrepreneurial aspect of things. Whether it's in my job that I work day to day, even though I don't own my own business, I work for a company. I still have that mindset of, this company is my responsibility too, right? I'm participating in its success and its growth, and I kind of have that when it comes to every facet of my life, and it's no different when it comes to my writing. So I want to be able to see from beginning to end the production of it. And I know that traditionally published authors too have some say here and there on how different things are handled, but for the most part, a lot of it is off of their plate. And I don't like that. I like to be invested and involved every step of my book. Um, Jeff Brown Graphics just did the graphics for the cover for my book, and hopefully I can use him for all my covers moving forward. He does such an excellent job, and I wouldn't have been able to, maybe to a certain extent, but I wouldn't have been able to select who did the cover for my book, sit down with them, go through the creative process of making it, looking at the first, edits of it, and being in control of how I want it to come out, how I envision it. And and again, of course, I took Jeff's advice on some things. Um, he knows what he's doing far more than what I know that he's doing. But I was able to, start that conversation, gear it towards what I want for my cover. And then same thing all down the line. Who's going to be printing my book? Once I sell enough copies to have a offset printer doing it. Who's going to be in charge of the maps? Fun fact: I'll be making my own maps. And that's another thing too. I'm going to be writing my own maps, right? Designing them, drawing them, because there's a reason for that, right? For my world building and everything. But a traditional publisher might not let me do that. They might say, "Yeah, you can make your own map, so we're going to take it and kind of make it our own way, so it's a little bit more in line with what we want." And I just don't like that. I want to be able to be a part of the whole creative process, but also the business process of the marketing, the pushing, who does what. I want to be able to see it from beginning to end and have that aspect over my books. The third reason is connection with consumers. This is I want to say right off the back that obviously, of course, traditional publishers can have connection with their consumers. I am not disregarding that at all. Um, and several authors have done an excellent job of that. Big name ones, smaller authors. There's a way to connect with your readers all along the way. What I mean by connection with consumers is that there is no company over me where if they accept and they give me a book deal, where they're sending it out to their thousands of consumers saying, "Here's this book, go ahead and buy it." I could still do my podcast episode, interact, when people comment, um, do everything that I'm supposed to do. But it's a little bit different, right? I'm not in that situation, I am not there at the door saying, "Hey, come check out my book," and bringing people in one by one. It's another company sending them to me. And yeah, that's a quick way to get people, right? And I hate to say the easy route. I'm not saying that it's easy to go that route either. It's very difficult to get a, publisher on your side or an agent. That's its own separate game. But I want to be able where every person who reads my book comes from a chain of either word of mouth from a friend who's seen my podcast or read my book, or it comes from hopefully at some point a review channel reviews my book. But every single when you spread that web out, every single person who's going to be buying my book or become a fan of mine, hopefully, is going to be because of these podcast episodes. If you follow, even though I'm a little bit less active on there, and you do better, but on TikTok or if you see me on Twitter or X, all the social medias, but specifically YouTube, right? Because this is where I can engage with everyone. It's because I'm leaving comments on every single comment under my video. It's because this is how I'm engaging with with people who I want to read my books. It's not because a marketing firm or publishing company out there gave it to all their readers um, and say, "Hey, who wants to come aboard?" No, every single person who's going to be reading my books is because of this right here, the podcast episodes, me interacting and bringing every single person on one by one. And there's just something about that I love, that feeling of creating something from the ground up, grassroots, if you will. So that really excites me, and what I feel is really important about going this route, handling it myself. And then fourth, I put it fourth specifically because it is the least important aspect for me, is the financial aspect of it. I don't care if I if I sell only 10 copies of every book that I ever write. I'd like for it to be more than that. I have this, I would really like to be much more successful in that, but I'm not going to stop writing. It doesn't matter, what happens, how many people read my books. If no one reads my books, I'm always going to write because it's what I love to do. It's my passion. It's my creativity. It's what I enjoy doing. So I'm always going to write. But, I do expect my books to grow over time. It may take, it's going to be over multiple years. And over that time, if I get to the point where it comes down to, hey, maybe, being able to write for a living, which is way down the line. I don't have high expectations for me at all. That's way down the line. Um, just in my research and going the traditional pub route, whether it's through ebooks or audiobooks, and then of course hardcover, softcover, all your formats. And I understand that there's a lot of overhead involved with everything, but the author gets such a little cut from the work that they did. Um, they wrote a whole book, and yet they get such a small portion of the sales of that book. And I know, yes, the publishing company obviously helped make that happen. The agent, the cover artist, all of that goes into it. I understand that. But that's exactly why I'm going the route that I'm going to, because yes, I'm paying someone to narrate my book. My friend Ryan Shukas, who has been a great friend along the way here and going to be an excellent narrator for my books. And so yes, obviously I'll be paying people. I'm going to have to buy my books. There's a bunch of money that goes into it, but the bottom line is that I'll get a much more larger cut of that in the end, which I think is important for me. I'm a financial guy. My career is in finances, so kind of mixed with that business mindset and then the financial aspect, it just makes sense to me from that perspective to do it myself. Yes, it's gonna take a longer route than just having a publisher saying, "Hey, here's, our 50,000 people who follow us or however many. Here's this new book, we hope you buy it." Versus me going, one by one and building up my audience from the grassroots sort of way. But I just feel like that if it's my book and it's my writing, then why shouldn't I get paid for it? But again, I don't care if you, the one person who's watching this, or however many people end up watching this, buy my book. I don't care if it's one copy sold, no copy sold, or 10,000 copies sold. I'm going to write no matter what because it's my passion and it's what I love to do. So those are the four reasons. I want to write what I want to write. I have that entrepreneurial mindset, the connection with the consumers, with you who support me. Love that. And then fourth, the financial aspect of things just makes sense to me. So those are the reasons why I'm going the self-publishing route. I'm pretty sure that there's many more, but those are the kind of main ones that I thought of when putting this together. If you have any questions about um, the self-publishing route and maybe like steps or processes or just questions of how it's been for me, feel free to ask, jump in the comments and ask, or if you want to go to my website, you can use the contact form. Always up for a conversation there. But until then, thank you. Thank you so much for supporting me. Please like this episode. Tell your friends about it. Very soon, I will have that pre-order button up for my book. It's right around the corner. It'll be coming. I'm asking you to be patient, but I'm the one that needs to be patient for it. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you next time.